Hey everyone, welcome to Buick Outdoors. If you're new around here, my name is Sheldon Marion, and today we're out here in the mountains still, and we're going after some black bear. Yesterday, we were way out over there in that valley, up and around the corner on the other side of this mountain, and we didn't really see much. It's a big burn area over there, and yeah, there was just no bear activity there. There was one small section that had some bear activity, but it wasn't very promising. So today, we came back, and now we're on this side, and again it is more burn, but as the further you get in here, the more it kind of opens up and you get into more of the old growth stuff that wasn't hit by the fire. And last year I seen a couple of really nice big bears in here, so yeah, today we're gonna be going after them. Well, I've been on this road for about 2 or 3 kilometers now, and you know, I think I've driven past about 12 piles of bear poop. With that much poop on the road, there's no way I'm gonna go down this road and not eventually run into one. The problem that I have though is on the right side, you know, we're driving on the side of a mountain basically. On the right side, it's fairly steep, but at least if I shoot something over there, I can kind of like roll it or drag it down or whatever. But on this side, can't really see it here. I'll go up here just a little bit. You see how steep it is going down. So if I shoot a bear and it goes down there, I'm gonna be kind of screwed. I won't be able to pull him out of there. Not because I'm fat and lazy, because I got like an actual like legitimate heart problem. I'll die dragging that bear up the hill. So hopefully if I see one on this section of the road anyways, hopefully he's up here, up in the hills here, or I'm gonna have to try shooting him in the neck or in the head and just drop him where he is. Because like I said, if he goes down there, he's just gonna stay down there. You know, there's no two ways about it. I just can't bring him up from there. But anyways, we're gonna keep on going. There's a beautiful little section of the river here. I don't know if you guys can see that way down there or not. You see the river kind of bends down that way. And then over there in the mountains, right there, you can see just a little sliver of Williston Lake, and that's basically where we're going to be going. This road, there's a big channel that comes in here, and this road, it goes around to the right, and you're basically driving on top of that big channel. And yeah, that's where I seen some bears last year, so hopefully we can find another one this year and put a stalk on them and take a shot. Well, we haven't seen any bears yet. We've seen a lot more bear poop, but I just want to show you this view here. So we've made it all the way down to where Williston Lake is. It's just on the other side there. But here's the big channel that we've been following, and then the river. And we came from pretty well way over there. So now we're getting kind of into like the heart of the mountains here. And pretty well, we're at Williston Lake. We actually don't have too much further to go on this road. Pretty much this road goes down here, we cut into here, we come up and around, we go around that bend, and then not too much further after that you kind of come to a dead end. So yeah, we'll go to the end of the road here and we'll see if we can find a bear. Hopefully now things are a little bit not flatter, but they're not nearly as steep. So now if there is a bear down in there, chances are I'll probably take a poke at him. Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad to pack out of back there though. Geez, that was like this, so I wasn't gonna do that. But yeah, we're gonna keep going here and see if we can find ourselves a bear. Well, earlier I said when we come around the corner here, we'll be driving pretty well on top of this channel, and this is what I was talking about here. So you can see the channel down there goes down into the creek, and then right there is Williston Lake, and then all the mountains. It's pretty crazy how yesterday we were pretty well on the other side of those mountains back there, and now today we're driving way out over here, pretty well back at the lake. Right on this corner here, you get a beautiful view of this spot. Look at that, eh? It's just beautiful. One of these days, I think right on this corner right here, I'm gonna set my tent up and then have the door facing that. I think that'd be pretty cool place to sleep, pretty cool place to wake up to. All right guys, I figured I'd just kind of show you that. It's a beautiful place, and one of these days, I don't know if I'll come up in a boat or I'll find a spot on the creek and float down in a canoe. One of these days I'm gonna do something like that. It'd be I think that'd be a pretty cool little trip. But yeah, I'm gonna keep on driving here and see if we can find ourselves a bear. So far we've just been seeing bear poop like just everywhere, and some moose tracks and some deer, but no bears. But we're not gonna give up. We're gonna keep on going. Well, we've driven all over the country again today. We started on pretty well that side of the mountain. We came back around, came onto this side, and we came pretty well right to Williston Lake. Just down here, I had to get on the brakes pretty heavy. There's a pretty good dip in the road, but everything was like kind of grown over with grass, so I didn't really notice it until kind of last minute. So I almost put my truck into that, which wouldn't have been good because I was staring off into the lake, to be honest with you. But now I've seen how we're on like this little goat trail. Yeah, we can't exactly just turn around. I gotta back up probably about half a kilometer maybe or so before I can find a spot that's actually wide enough to turn around, because as you can see, there's the tire tracks, there's that big ditch, and then there's that really big ditch. So yeah, we're backing up backing up, turn around, and see if we can find a bear on the way out. If not, well, whatever. It's early in the day. Maybe once I get turned around and get out of here, we'll stop somewhere with the dogs, let them run around, have a cup of coffee or tea or something like that. But yeah, for now I'm just gingerly backing up. Well, as we're making our way out of here, you know, I wanted to say, you know, like some of these places I go, you know, it's like it's goat trails, right? So like, as much as I want to encourage people to get outside and get outdoors and see some of the things that I get to see, I wouldn't necessarily encourage you to come in here if you care about the paint on your truck. You know, for me, when I bought this pickup, I bought it because I go to crazy places like this, and I didn't want something that was secondhand and like you couldn't trust it. So part of that, you know, you buy a new vehicle so you have something that's, you know, most likely not going to break down on you. But with that, you know, you start driving through stuff like this, and you just kind of not have to care about your paint. Like it's gonna get scratched up when you're coming into places like this. But you know what? It is what it is. Worst case scenario, I can go to, you know, whatever, Canadian Tire, get one of those pens or whatever, and doll it up. Or you just kind of run with it and just, you know, you bought a truck to go hunting. You bought a truck to go to places like this. You didn't buy a truck to have it look pretty in your driveway, right? So for me, I'd try not to ding it up and scratch it a bunch, but just coming in here today, I bet you I've probably put at least 6 or 7 more scratches on the truck. But like I said, I didn't buy it for it to look pretty in my driveway. I bought it out, or I bought it to come out to places like this. But yeah, small little price to pay. So if you don't really care about the paint on your truck, please come out here and check this place out. And like, the amount of like rubs and scrapes and stuff like that around here is just phenomenal. But it is a chore to get here. Right now, coming in, some of the parts of the road, they're pretty muddy, pretty soft and stuff. And now that, you know, it's getting cloudy and it's starting to rain here and there every so often. And yeah, if it really starts to rain, I might be partially kind of screwed back in here. I don't know if I'd really be able to get out, but right now we're fine. But if it starts to rain like a lot, there's a couple of spots where it's a little iffy, a little hairy, but whatever. We're making our way out, and yeah, when we get back to the main road, I think we'll stop somewhere, let dogs out, and like I said, I'll have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or something like that, and yeah, we'll see you guys back out on the main road. Well, we got out of our road back there. The rain is starting to hold off, so luckily we didn't have to throw her into 4x4 doing any ditch banging or anything like that and get out of there. Now we're basically stopping at the side of the creek here, and I'm gonna make myself a cup of tea. I got my little pocket rocket stove. I think I've done a little review on this before, and I'll throw up a little Amazon link if you guys want to pick one up. There, wicked awesome. Same with my little titanium, what do you want to call it? French press. This thing's another cool little gadget. It was a bit expensive, but it's whatever. I mean, to me, I think it's useful. For me, it was like 50 bucks or something crazy like that, but yeah, I'll throw that on there. Grab our bottle of water. There we go. And then this little pocket rocket thing, there's a igniter on there, so you just turn it, click it, and there you go. This wind though, it's starting to pick up like crazy, and over here I'll show you all the clouds and stuff. They're all starting to come up over the mountains. So we just got out of that, and then the dogs, they're down here having a nice little drink in the creek over there, peeing and pooping, all that good stuff. But yeah, I think what we're gonna do here, we're gonna have our little cup of tea, and then we'll make our way back closer to Williston Lake, and then back around that other road that I go down quite a bit. And yeah, we'll check that out and see if there's any bears in there. Right now, like, I've been seeing signs of bears, just no bears other than the one on the way out that was on the highway. But yeah, anyways, we're gonna keep going and see. We got a long ways to go yet. It's only 12 o'clock, so I mean, like, we got like another 7-8 hours of hunting really to do. So yeah, we're gonna keep on trucking. Well, a couple minutes later, water's nice and boiling. Turn this off. Oh, I go the wrong way. There we go. If you go the right way, you can turn it off. And there we go. My little tea bag, a couple things of Splenda. Oh, almost perfect. There we go. Now we'll let this steep here for a little bit. I'll throw the lid on, and then we'll head back on the road and see if we can find a bear. Nice little stop anyways. I had a banana, shared that with the dogs. They got their drink of water from the creek there. Everybody's running around, everybody's happy. So yeah, wait for my tea at a steep, and then we'll be back on the road again. And like I said, you know, we're looking for bears, but might have to settle for pork chops tonight. Well, I just spotted my first bear. Unfortunately, it was right there on the corner as I came up around this corner. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna see if he acts like bears in other areas. Give him like 10 minutes, see if he comes back out, and if he does, I'll take a shot at him. But if not, well, whatever. At least we know there's one bear here. I don't know how many kilometers we put on, but it's been almost a full tank of gas, about 600 kilometers, and I've seen one bear. So yeah, I think if this keeps up, I'm thinking next week we might have to go back to my old stomping grounds and see if we can get 2 bears in one day, because over there it's actually like very, very possible to do that. So yeah, we'll sit here for 10 minutes or whatever. I'm gonna get out with the rifle and all that good stuff, and we'll see if he comes back out. Well, that bear, he never came back. He took off, and he just, I don't know, he must have ran to the lake. Oh man, hunting out here, you know, it's a bit frustrating compared to my old stomping grounds, where, you know, we would see 12 bears a day fairly consistently, sometimes even up to like 20, and like that was with like, oh man, 50 kilometers of road, where today and yesterday I've driven probably about 600 kilometers, because like, and just to show you like how far I've driven, yesterday we were on the other side of that mountain, and then we went to that valley over there, then we went on to the other side of that mountain, and we went way over here to where the lake comes around this mountain. And there's that big channel in there. So I mean, like, we have covered like just vast wilderness so far, and like I like, we've seen tracks, we've seen the poop, but we've only seen that one bear, and he as soon as I came around that corner, he just ran, which is good. I mean, if you don't, you know, I'm hunting bears. But you know, I think these bears too, like they're just like, they don't seem scared. I don't know if it's just because they haven't seen people or haven't seen much of traffic, and then when they do hear something off, they just run and hide. Where bears, where I normally hunt at, they see pickups and logging trucks and oil and gas vehicles and tankers and stuff just constantly, so they just kind of go, eh, whatever. And then I come around, I get out and I, you know, pull the trigger on them. But it is what it is. That's why it's called hunting, not killing. But yeah, I think what we're gonna do now, we're taking in some sights of the lake here. It's a beautiful little spot, this nice little overhang that you get to check out. And yeah, I think now what we're gonna be doing is pretty well hopping back in the truck, going back the other way, see if that bear comes back out, and if he doesn't, well, whatever. I guess that's that. And then maybe we'll find somewhere to camp here tonight, and we'll start to get some firewood and do some cooking. I got pork chops and corn on the cob tonight, plus my can of beans. I didn't eat that yesterday, so yeah, we'll do that tonight. Well, we haven't seen any more bears, so what I did was I came to a spot where we had a forest fire last year, and I'm just kind of looking on the ground to see if there's any mushrooms growing yet. I know right now we got some of this green grass and stuff starting to grow up, so I'm hoping that we get some morels in here. But like right now, I don't even see any like those small little I think they're called fire cups or whatever. Yeah, because usually with those, they grow up first and then morels are soon to follow, supposedly. Don't take mushroom picking advice from me, because I picked morels once. So I mean, I'm just kind of saying what other people have said. But yeah, I'm not even seeing those little tiny mushrooms yet. So if they're not here, chances are the morels aren't growing. Plus, I'm on a couple of like mushroom picking pages and stuff like that on Facebook, and even those guys on there who are like hardcore mushroom pickers, they haven't even really found much other than like way down south. They're starting to pick them there now, but yeah, up here, I mean, I was not quite sleeping in snow this morning, but you know, there was snow right beside me. So yeah, I think it's still a little too cold yet, and we'll probably have to wait until, I don't know, second week of June. But yeah, I'm gonna look around here for a little bit, and then we'll go and possibly start a fire and cook up some pork chops. I'm not too sure. Today the wind is slowly starting to pick up, and it's getting real cloudy, and according to the weather, they're calling for rain to start tonight and then thunderstorms starting tomorrow. So we'll see. Then some wind gusts too, so I don't know, we might end up just kind of driving around looking for a bear, and then maybe going home and cooking. I don't mind cooking in the wind and stuff like that, but trying to sleep when it's raining or possibly turning into snow, which happens a lot out here, it's not that fun. But yeah, anyways, we're gonna hop back into the truck here and yeah, look for another bear and see what happens. Alrighty guys, so to be honest with you, got a little carried away yesterday. I ended up going out and visiting with the in-laws, and I was there for quite a few hours. And then yeah, it got dark and I pretty well just came home. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be cooking the pork chops on the barbecue, and we also got the old cast iron out, and we're going to do up some mushrooms and onions on that. And yeah, we also got another corn on the cob to do. So yeah, I'll get this all lit up and we'll start cooking. Alrighty, so we got the barbecue going, and it's set on a fairly low heat. Just waiting for it to kind of heat up. It's at 300 degrees right now, and we'll be throwing our pork chops on there fairly soon. Just gonna do like a low and slow kind of thing. Now we're gonna fire up the old Camp Chef. This thing always spooks me. I always like burn my hand when you do this. But you gotta light it if you want to cook it, you know. Look at that. Went pretty smooth that time. So this here, we're going to put a cast iron on that. Once the cast iron heats up, we're going to throw in our sliced mushrooms. We're going to put these in just dry. Mushrooms, you know, they're like 80% water kind of a thing. So I put mushrooms in dry, and that way it kind of steams and it slowly starts to cook. And then once I have the onion sliced up, then we'll throw in like a little bit of butter or something like that to add to it. So now that the barbecue is nice and hot, we got it all cleaned up. We're just gonna toss our pork chops on here, and then basically just kind of let them slowly roast in here and have the fat kind of slowly render out. With pork chops, I noticed that the slower you cook them, the more juicy and tender they become, kind of a deal. So with that, we'll leave this on a fairly low heat, and we'll just kind of let them sit and cook, and then we'll get our mushrooms on here fairly soon. And then with the mushrooms and onions, once they're kind of done cooking, I mean, we can set them off to the side, we can throw them into the barbecue to stay warm. Doesn't really matter. So yeah, I see our pan is just starting to smoke here now, so we'll run over there, throw our mushrooms in, and get cooking on those. Alright, so the pan, it's just starting to smoke a little bit. We might be able to turn that up a little, but we'll see here once we throw these mushrooms in. Pretty well, you want them to start to sizzle and steam right away, but not burn. Yeah, you hear that nice little sizzle? That's perfect. Then we'll grab our spatula, make sure nothing's sticking. Oops. There we go. Now we'll just let these sit here and steam and let the moisture kind of come out of them, and then they'll start to brown up, and then we'll get our onion sliced up, throw it in there with a chunk of butter and some seasonings, and yeah, we'll have a good little thing to go with our pork chops. Well, these mushrooms have been cooking for about 4 or 5 minutes now, and you can see they're slowly starting to turn brown, and they're still steaming and making a bunch of noise. But this is about the right time that I want to slice up my onion and get that in there. That way the onions and the mushrooms will kind of cook together. That way you don't have like overcooked mushrooms, undercooked onions kind of thing. So I'm going to slice up my onion, throw that in there, put in a bunch of butter and then some seasoning, and then we'll mix it all up, and then pretty well just let her saute and soften up. Alrighty, so our onions are in. Now I just got to open up my butter, cut off a big chunk of it, and throw that in there, and let that start melting up. There we go. There we go. Now once that starts to melt, we'll mix it all up, and yeah, get that butter kind of incorporated with everything. Get these onions mixed up, and then we'll throw in our spices. Ooh, a little flare up. There we go. Alrighty, so now that we have that all busted up, one thing you could do is add a little bit of salt, and this will help draw out the moisture in your mushrooms and your onions. Now a little bit of oregano in this always tastes good. Oregano, a little bit of basil maybe too. And then we're going to try out this roasted garlic and pepper again. We're going to be putting this on our pork chops as well, so hopefully it tastes good on both. Now pretty well mix this all up, and then we're just gonna let it sit here and slowly cook away, and pretty well let that butter almost like steam and brown up all these onions and make them nice and soft. And once these are getting pretty well done, what we'll do is we'll pull this off and we'll stick it right into the barbecue with all the pork chops. Then that way it just kind of stays warm, and we don't have to sit here and leave this running. But yeah, I'm gonna check on the pork chops now and see how they're coming along. All right, let's check on these pork chops. Ooh, looking pretty good. Nice and white on the tops, on the bottom, getting cooked. You can see on the outside too, all the moisture and stuff starting to kind of drip out the top. Oh yeah, that's looking great. Now what we'll do is we'll grab our little bit of a seasoning, and we'll sprinkle it on there and let the juices that are coming up kind of soak into that seasoning, and yeah, it'll make this taste great. Oh Daisy, what are you doing sitting there? There we go, got them all sauced up. Close the lid, leave them for another 15-20 minutes, and yeah, we'll go back to our mushrooms and onions and make sure we're not burning those. Well, everything's cooking along nicely. We got our onions and mushrooms there. They're pretty well almost done. And then in here, I end up throwing a couple of corn on the cob in there. And then our pork chops, they're starting to come along pretty good. So we'll grab our little flippers and we'll give these a flip again. And that way we're able to season this side. And then after a little bit, I think to finish these off, what I might do is I might take these and put them into there. So when they kind of soak up all the flavor and the juices from the onions and the mushrooms and the butter and all that good stuff. But now we have it like that. We'll grab our seasoning and we'll throw it on there and we'll cook it for another, oh, I don't know, 10-15 minutes, something like that. And then yeah, by then the corn should be almost done. We can grab our pork chops, throw it into our mushrooms and let them kind of soak up some of them juices, and boy, this is gonna be good. It might almost be slightly better than cooking over fire. So our pork chops are pretty well done here now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this pan and I'm going to transfer all of those pork chops into that pan. Then I'm gonna take the pan and put it right directly onto that barbecue, and then we'll close the lid and we'll kind of finish it off, kind of baking it like that. So when you're handling cast iron, make sure you put a glove on. There we go. I got room. Perfect. There we go. Now we have this set up pretty nice in here. We have that going. We got our corn. We have these set to low. We'll turn that one up just a little bit to kind of get that that corn burning, and then yeah, we'll be eating here pretty quick. Well, the barbecue there, it's slowly starting to die, and I want to kind of char up this corn a little bit. So I fired up this burner, and we're gonna do it on here. Doesn't take much, and look at that. That right there, that's about exactly what you're looking for. There we go. Do all 4 sides, and then we'll be pretty well ready to go. Once I'm done doing this too, I gotta do up a little dish for Shelby and take that down to her before she left for work. She kind of forgot her food here, so instead of her eating her leftovers, she's gonna have something nice and hot. There we go. Pretty well got it kind of charred up on all sides there, so we're good to go. Turn that off. There we go. We'll throw that back into the barbecue for a bit. I'm gonna dish up a dish for Shelby and bring it down to her at work, and then yeah, when I come back, I'll do up my own dish, and then yeah, we'll have a bite. Alrighty, well, after it's all said and done, there's the final product. Got some nice pork chops, our mushrooms and onions, our corn. It's all charred up. Man, it's gonna be pretty good stuff. Well, while I dig into this, I just want to thank you guys for coming along on another a little bit of a hunt, I guess, today. You know, we haven't really been seeing a whole lot, but it is what it is. That's why it's, you know, it's hunting, not killing. And with that being said, though, I'm thinking next week we might have to pack up our stuff and go back to our old stomping grounds. You know, around here we have quite a few bears, but they're so incredibly hard to find, and they're just spooky. So yeah, even when you do find a bear, you know, you don't get many opportunities to put a stalk on them. But yeah, the old stomping grounds there's way more bears, and they're easier to stock up on. So I think that might be our game plan next week, is to pack up for 3 or 4 days, just head over there and see if we can get two bears on the dirt. But yeah, anyways, cheers. Oh yeah. Yeah, the other day I had that seasoning on a steak, and it's okay. It's too sweet for a steak, but on pork and chicken, it's phenomenal. All these wooden forks, you can't stab nothing with them. Those onions, they got a little too cooked when they're in the cast iron in the barbecue, but oh well. And then let's see if this is any good. I know it's great on the barbecue and on the fire when you char it like this, but because I was kind of running out of propane, I used the other one, but we'll see. Oh yeah, it's just as good. Yeah, on that side there's a little more char than this side, so I want to try that, and oh yeah, that's phenomenal. Alrighty guys, well, again, thank you for coming along on this hunt. Sorry that we couldn't shoot nothing, but you know, it is what it is. That's hunting, and if you expect to kill every single time, you know, I'm probably not the person to watch, because you know, I don't show just the kills. I just show what happens. You know what I mean? I don't really hide nothing. But yeah, hopefully next week we have a little bit of better luck, and if not, again, it's what's called hunting, not killing. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Leave me a comment or two, and we'll catch you on the next one.